Walking into week 3, who are you picking up? Who's going to help you win a league? Do you worry about picking up guys that can help you now? Or should you be a little proactive and try and grab a guy like Tony Pollard over maybe a guy like JD McKissic? Do you grab a guy like Gainwell, more future value, potential league winning value, over a guy like Rondale Mattison who could maybe help you now? I think I'm just going to say it here. The best pickup here, long term, probably out of all these guys, feels like Pollard. Week 3, waiver wire ads coming up right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back.
You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty.
Take a lap.
Okay, the top waiver wire guy for week 3 is going to be Alexander Mattison. Depending on what's going on with Dalvin Cook, we don't really know exactly the extent of his injury or injuries, but the dude practically looked done for the year early on in the game. Then it comes back into the game and then looks good. If you owned him last year in 2020, you were put through this dance like every week. Owning Dalvin Cook last year was like living on the edge of your seat, holding your breath at every moment. You didn't know when he was going down, if he'd get back up. Crawled off the field a couple times, was helped off the field a couple times, and was carried off the field a couple other times. Done for the year. That's how he felt on multiple occasions in 2020. He's taken us through this entire roller coaster ride again in 2021, and we're only in week 2. 2 times he looks like he's out for a while. And he could be fine next week. We don't know as of this recording during the beginning of the second quarter of the Sunday night football game between the Chiefs and the Ravens. It's 14-7. Mahomes is on his own 2-yard line in the end zone. We don't know. Right now, we don't know the extent of Dalvin Cook's injury. And Mattison, in my opinion, is so talented. I don't care what people think of him based on his one bad start last year when he filled in for the injured Dalvin Cook for 1 week. I don't care about that week. I know what I've seen over the course of a couple years here now. The dude looks legit. The dude looks like Dalvin Cook on the field. In fact, if you don't pay too close attention to the TV, you're eating your buffalo wings, you're getting your hands full of Doritos, and you glance over the TV. Nice run, Dalvin Cook. Wait a minute, that's Alexander Mattison. That's Alexander Mattison, Smitty. He looks exactly like Dalvin Cook if you're not paying much attention. Both are really talented. Both run aggressively. And Alexander Mattison would be a top 6 to 10 running back per start if playing in place of the injured Dalvin Cook. It's a league-winning move. Now, I can't tell you in general, just with a video where I have no idea what your situation is, if you should go get a JD McKissic, who's available in close to 60% of all leagues. He's only owned in, I've got it on a board I'm going to show you in a minute, 39% of leagues JD McKissic is owned and rostered in. Should you get a JD McKissic or should you get an Alexander Mattison? The reason I don't know what to advise you, I don't know the roster build or construction of your team. I don't even know if you can use JD McKissic, because if you can't, then why not take the home run swing on Alexander Mattison? More importantly, why don't you already own him when he was one of my biggest breakouts of all of 2021 in terms of like a sleeping giant? Both Tony Pollard and Alexander Mattison are 2 of my biggest sleeping giant players. They have been all year. So if I'm you and you don't need McKissic right now, you don't need Rondale Mattison right now, you wouldn't mind owning them, but you don't necessarily need them. You don't need Michael Pittman right now. The player you're picking up is for the potential home run winning move. Then my number 1 ads for you would be Pollard and Mattison. Depending on how severe the Cook injury is, I would of course put Mattison number 1 overall if he's starting multiple games for sure. But if Cook is day to day and this whole thing's a scare like the first injury was today earlier in the game, then Pollard might be your better shot at being the top ad for week 3. I know everyone's going to say, Smitty, okay, I hear you, but how likely is Cook going to be out next week or a long term? We don't know. He might be fine. He was in and out of the lineup, I believe, even after the ankle injury, which was his second injury of the game that looked like it would take him out for multiple weeks. I don't want to say he's tough and he knows how to come back in. He feels very injury prone. But if he plays next week, you got to again answer the question, what helps you more? What helps you win? What helps you get W's and move closer and closer to making the playoffs? Is it McKissic? Is it Rondale Moore? Is it Tony Pollard? If Cook's not out, then Alexander Mattison can move all the way below Tony Pollard. It just completely depends on the news tomorrow. One could argue that regardless, Tony Pollard should be the number one, and we can even move him right up to the top and say, you know what? If he gets in there, he's the most likely to be a top 5 running back out of all backups in the NFL. Maybe Tony Pollard just needs to be by default, no matter what we're hearing about. Unless Cook's out for the year, no matter what we hear, Pollard needs to be the number one if you want that win a league home run potential running back. Because make no mistake about it, I like Alexander Mattison. But if Pollard and Mattison are both starting for their teams, Pollard is the top 5 running back. Mattison 6 to 10. I think I'm just going to say it here. The best pickup here, long term, probably out of all these guys, feels like Pollard. It just matters what you need and when. Now, whether you want now production or future production, Rondale Moore is deserving to be 1, 2, or 3 overall on this list because Rondale Moore is not only a future baller, he's a current present day baller. This guy brought it in week 3, man. He pulled in
7 receptions for 114
and a touchdown on 8 targets, and he looked electric. You may or may not have seen all the Rondale Moore videos I did during the offseason, but I did a lot of stuff on this guy coming out of the draft, talking about how he's the perfect mix between an Antonio Brown and a Tyreek Hill. He's got the Tyreek Hill quickness. He's got the Antonio Brown ability to run routes and knife all over the field. He can stutter, stop, change directions, and his acceleration is to the moon. He could eventually be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. And now DeAndre Hopkins is the number 1 there in Arizona. Moore probably will be a little up and down as a rookie, as most rookie wide receivers are, but he's going to often have flashes of brilliance like this, and it wouldn't shock me if he had a very consistent rookie year to the tune of a low-end wide receiver 2 or high-end wide receiver 3. He's that dynamic in today's NFL with the rules in place for guys like this, for Rondale Moore, where you can't put your hands on him after so many yards. This man is impossible to contain, and with DeAndre Hopkins keeping defenses honest, with Kyler Murray needing to be shadowed, Rondale Moore is going to be all over the field in single coverage, just wide open all year long. And I think they know what they have in him, and they want to get this playmaker the football. So it might be one of those situations where a rookie does better than anybody expected in the efficiency department because of the necessity of needing this guy to be there for Kyler Murray as he's on the run and Hopkins is facing double teams. Rondale Moore should be locked into wide receiver 3 territory from here on out, and that makes him one of the most attractive ads this week because he can be implemented into your lineup right away. I don't think he can produce that kind of volume each week, but he will do it more often, I think, than people expect as a rookie. My favorite wide receiver grab for week 3 on, and he's only rostered in 52% of leagues, which means that in about 50% of your leagues, he's sitting there on waivers right now. Grab him. He's a fantastic wide receiver 3 for your team. Go forward. McKissic is only rostered in 39% of leagues right now. He is probably the best available running back in most people's leagues if you need a running back 2 or 3 now because of injury. You lost J.K. Dobbins or you did a bad trade. Whatever the case may be, if you need like now production, you can't wait on Pollard or run the risk of him not getting work. You need somebody that's getting volume. He caught 80 balls last year. McKissic is pretty guaranteed to have good volume. I think he makes a fine candidate for somebody in need of that running back 2-3 that they need to play every week because they have a hole that they can't fill with trade. Gainwell is a player that I think you grab and stash. He's not necessarily great to use every week right now, but Sanders is still working through a bum ankle. Gainwell walking out of the NFL draft behind only ETN was the second best receiving back in the entire draft class from 2021. Hard worker, he's hungry, and he's got the PPR potential that if in the lineup, in this high potent offense, I don't care how they did in week 2, Gainwell would go to the moon if getting enough volume and targets, and I think they will eventually.
Take a left.
I went live right after the afternoon games, and we created the big board for the top 3 ads for week 3. Tim Patrick, I didn't have on there. Van Jefferson, I didn't have on there, so we wrote them on the side. They were definitely good recommendations because sometimes I don't think of all the players that are available in all of your leagues. I might see something different than you see, and you see something different than I see. But right here, I have all of the potential top ads for week 3 with, in parentheses, the percentage rostered. So that means that Mattison's rostered in 41% of leagues and available in the rest. Rondale Moore, 52. McKissic, 39. Pollard, 62. Mattison, 15. Mike Williams, 84. I put him on there because 84 is a big number of percentage being rostered, but still 15%. Those people need to know to go grab them. So I wanted to throw them on here. Shepard, 64. Gainwell, 51. Moss, 61. Michael Carter, 65. You can see the list right in front of you, so I won't keep reading off every single name and percentage, but I will say I circled on the live, and I feel this way right now, as you can tell by my entire spiel I just gave you, that Mattison, Pollard, and Gainwell are probably my favorite 3 ads if they are available. And Mattison and Pollard, if you're the Fantasy Football Show viewer, you should not have these guys available anyway. In fact, Mattison, Pollard, and Gainwell should all be on your teams, but things happen. And every bench is different in terms of, being able to hold and retain guys. So if your benches are smaller, I get it. I do believe these 3 are the the best win a league potential guys on this list right here. And Rondale Moore. Let me go up and circle Rondale Moore. He needs to be circled as well. Maybe I won't put him in the tripod, but I will circle him. The tripod being Mattison, Pollard, and Gainwell. But I'm going to circle Rondale Moore because he needs to be at least included. I hope that helped you in my buy low, sell high video coming later on Monday.
Take a left.
And play PrizePicks this Monday night and every Monday night. Go to Smitty1.com right behind me or right here. Click on the PrizePicks banner if you venture there without going through the link. Make sure you enter promo code Smitty so you get all the benefits like my free sleeperu.com membership I'm going to give you if you go do that right now. DM me on Instagram or email me a screenshot that you did it, and I'll give you a free content membership. The $29.99 package on sleeperu.com is all yours. And check out the over-unders for the Monday night game. Give me the 40.5 over for yardage for Swift. Give me the 70.5 over on Aaron Jones. I like that a lot. So get on over there and check it out. It's awesome. Get your prop on for the Monday night game. It makes the game so much more enjoyable, especially if fantasy's not going your way and you got this other thing you can root for. Go to PrizePicks, go through the link, Smitty1.com, enter promo code Smitty. The link should enter it for you, and then get your free sleeperu.com membership if you don't already have it. Go.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back.
You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty.